The only reason that Dexnor even really became an option for me was because I was initially having issues with the connectivity of the Samsung keyboard case with my Samsung tablet, which again gave Dexnor an opportunity to, be a part of the conversation. But had I not had any issues with my Samsung keyboard, yeah, this is a complete package. Aesthetic wise, I like it. Weight wise, I like it. Functionality wise, I like it. It does enough. It does just what I want it to do. It's simplistic. It opens up. It's well supported. Again, the keys are comfortable to type on and use. I almost could say I couldn't ask for anything better, but I know of a better combination, right?
Hey, welcome back to the channel. So what I have right in front of me are two cases for the S8 Tab Ultra, or Galaxy S8 Tab Ultra. I'm not really sure how that goes. I'll put it up on the screen. But right here on the left is the cover case that you can get from Samsung. When it initially launched, it was like $350, but on Amazon right now, you can pick this up for about 99 to 115 bucks at the max is what it looks like. And then over here on the right is the Dexnor keyboard for the S8 Tab Ultra, which goes for around 140, 115 at the low end. So in this video, we'll dive into the similarities and the differences between these two keyboards so that you can make a determination for yourself as to which one might be the better pick for you. But what's interesting about this video is I'm actually not the person that tested these two products out. I didn't use the S8 Ultra. I don't use it, but my brother does. So 2 weeks ago, my brother was able to get his hands on the cover keyboard, and that's what he's been utilizing with his recent S8 Ultra tablet from Samsung. And then yesterday, or 2 days ago, he was able to get his hands on the Dexnor keyboard and get a feel for the differences between the two. So in just a moment, I'll swap out with my brother and ask him a few questions regarding his initial impressions between these two keyboards and which one he'll be sticking with. Stay tuned. So bro, being that you've used the cover case keyboard from Samsung for the S8 Tab Ultra for about 2 weeks now, what were your initial impressions of it and how's it been using it so far?
Initially, I was kind of stiff-arming the Dex initially. I am a very avid Samsung person, and I really did like the sleekness of the Samsung design, right? Very minimalistic, very light, very simple. And I say very simple because in comparison to the Dex, at a glance, it had a lot more going on. It kind of looked as if they were trying maybe a little bit too hard in comparison to the Samsung tablet with a few of its detailed features. But then when I actually got the tablet, yeah, it was everything just made a lot of sense. Like when you look at the Dex keyboard, for one, in comparison to the Samsung keyboard case, it's more sunken in, and it has in its corners these rubber grooves that extend from the corners, right? Very minor, but significant, especially over a period of time where you're constantly closing and opening your tablet and whatnot. You know, any small detail that can, prolong or add to the longevity of your investment is a plus for me. So I'm feeling the texture of it. You know, the texture is very Samsung-like. It's very premium, very comfortable. I like that. And that's just on the, interior of the keyboard, and then you get to the trackpad. And again, I would say Samsung for me has one of the best feeling trackpads. Mm-hmm. The most functional, best functional, leave you to decide. But as far as, feel and responsiveness, it's very much to my liking, right? Nice. When it comes to the keys, they're not loud, but I like the response of them, right? So when you press down, there's a how to put it, a firmness to the keys. Like they don't feel like they're moving, but they kind of spring back up at you and into place as soon as you type in whatever you're typing as you're typing. And I like that feel, right? They feel very solid and well put together. Aside from that, I mean, there's really not much to the Samsung keyboard. I mean, it's just a comfortable, solid keyboard. I would say if you compare it to like the Dell XPX, right, that I have in the room, right. Well, it feels very much like that. Very much like that. I still think there's like a minute difference, but essentially, again, it just feels very smooth. So that's the keyboard, right? That's everything you have when it comes to the keyboard. It's not a lot going on. It's just enough, right? And just attaching it is a very simplistic process. You pop it in, it works, right? And it's one of the things I really like about this keyboard, the simplicity. And then with the other component of the case keyboard, you have the back portion, and with the back portion, well, you have this part right here just that makes almost all the difference when compared to the other keyboards out there, or the one that I'll be comparing this to, which is the Dexnor keyboard or key case. The difference is with this keyboard is when you do this right here, well, you see there's the pen, right? Tucked away, nicely secured within the case. And so when you're transporting it and you're taking it in and out of a bag or anything like that, you don't have to worry about the misplacement or the potential damage of the stylus that the tablet comes with. And it really is handy. And then you have, in comparison, how thin this case is compared to the Dexnor.
I noticed that that flap, that right side of it over there is sticking up a bit. Is that because it's not lined up just yet? Is it on the camera bump or something?
Right. Let me see if yeah, it was. It was on the bump.
Okay.
So yeah, we just corrected the positioning of the tablet because it looked like this was sticking out initially. It was like, what? Is there like a geometric issue that Samsung had when producing this one out there? Is this a defect? But no, we just realigned it to make sure that the case was flushly on there and not on one of the grooves like the camera back there. But yeah, everything just fits very sleekly. Again, very minimalistic, which is the thing these days. And so yeah, these are all the, I guess, how it looks from different perspectives from different sides of the device when the key base is fully closed. It's very slim. It's very slim.
How does it feel weight-wise?
In weight-wise, it has a weight to it. I'll just say that. I don't know how much it weighs with this keyboard. I hadn't tested out the weight, but it definitely has a significant, but not overwhelming, in my opinion, weight to it. It's one that aligns with my preference. I prefer things with a level weight to it, right? And for me, that translates into the quality of the device or the case item, what have you, and how it was built and manufactured, because all of those play a part in how heavy a device is. It's comfortable. I would say that it's comfortable, in my opinion. So talking a little about the other portion about the case. And let me just say, one of the things I love about this design with the whole magnetic back, magnetic keyboard and how they function together, just that, right? You can easily just take off the back and simply have the keyboard, or simply use this in full tablet mode, disconnect the keyboard, put it away, or just not bring it with you at all, and have a solid back to comfortably hold and utilize. So yeah, and then the orientation is awesome.
So it can go pretty low.
It can go pretty low.
Wow.
That's how far back we're looking. You're never really gonna, I would say, have the tablet completely flat on any surface. So when you are not using it, boom, it's resting flat on the thing, right? So depending on what you're doing, relatively firm when it comes to using the pen or interacting with the tablet, where you're not just viewing it and doing everything from your keyboard. You will still have to some extent support the tablet, especially when you're applying pressure and maybe you're doing something like drawing. I wouldn't recommend, personally, being on a desk and relying so much on the hinge to support it when doodling or writing on it, because over time that pressure or constant doing whatever could potentially wear out the hinge itself, and you're already going to do that essentially with having to use it normally. So yeah,
makes sense.
I would prefer using it like this. But yeah, that's your Samsung keyboard case in a nutshell.
So jumping into the Dexnor keyboard, I believe it's called. I think you've had your hands on it for about 2 days, 3 days, something like that. What are your initial thoughts and impressions using it? How does it feel in comparison to the covered keyboard? Okay,
so with the majority of things that I purchased and prefer, I like there being like a certain amount of weight to it, right? I like weighted items, right? It adds a level of presence that again, it's something that I prefer. And that with the Dexnor keyboard is something that they don't shy on. This, in comparison to the Samsung's keyboard, is significantly heavier when combined with the tablet itself, right? Still similar to the Samsung's design, you have, the detachable magnetic back with a hinge, and you have, the keyboard, which is also a separate entity, if you will, by itself. But it takes that to a whole nother extreme in the sense that with the Dexnor keyboard, it requires you to have a charger to a certain extent, right? It's Bluetooth enabled, which means, for one, if I disconnect this tablet, or the part that it attaches to from the bottom of the tablet,
right,
well, it's still going to function or be functional when turned on. And then another cool feature of this keyboard is the LED. Samsung doesn't have that, and that is already pretty.
Oh, okay. Samsung is backlit, it just doesn't have the RGB customization for the lighting, right?
Correct. It's backlit, but Samsung does not have the RGB thing going on, which is really cool. Really pleasing to look at.
You don't really see that on like the small form factor devices.
You don't. You'll find that maybe in most laptops, or like this one right here, right, for your desktops. But you don't see that too often, or at least I haven't seen that too often in, a tablet like keyboards. And this right here is just so well put together. Initially, I was really standoffish for this right here because I'm very minimalistic. I like simple stuff. I didn't want to be concerned with having to charge this if it ever died or when it dies, in addition to all the other things that I have to charge, including my tablet, my headphones, my my other Bluetooth devices, my mouse, which all rely on rechargeable battery. Pros and cons, right? Again, the design, the functionality, I am very pro Dexnor right now. So a little disclaimer: when it comes to charging the keyboard, keeping it charged, and how that correlates with the tablet, when the keyboard dies, the keyboard dies. The tablet's still functional. The tablet doesn't draw any type of power, and vice versa from the keyboard. Matter of fact, it being Bluetooth enabled, the only thing that you'll see at the bottom of this, or top of this keyboard, right, where the tablet connects to it, is these magnetic hinges, as opposed to on the Samsung keyboard, there'll be a attachment here, right? Had they incorporated a design where, like Samsung keyboard, there was a connection, or more intimate connection through that port right there, then possibly, but no. So like I said, when it comes to the Dexnor case, right, it's similar in its design. You have two separate parts. You have the back part that's attaches magnetically, and the keyboard, like I said, that functions as an independent entity. But the back portion, different from the Samsung keyboard, has this open slotted area, right, for you to put your keyboard, not your keyboard, your stylus, as opposed to encasing it like the Samsung keyboard does. It also has a hinge like the Samsung keyboard, but comparatively, the thickness is a lot greater than what you would find on the Samsung keyboard, or with the Samsung keyboard's case.
Weight wise,
would
you say that's more like holding a full-fledged laptop, or more like holding just like a tablet itself? Does it still retain that lightness?
When you add all the components of this case with this tablet, the cover and the keyboard, it's heavy, it's heavier. There's just a weight added to the conversation when you're talking about this keyboard in this case. Do I like it? I don't mind it, right? It's that kind of response that I get when talking about it. I don't mind the weight of this setup, right? And I say that, because, I've had more so dealt with laptops as opposed to tablets that were similar in dimension. And they feel very much like this, in hand, in size, in weight. But it actually might be a little heavier than some of your newer laptops out there, which are focused in areas of, being as light as possible in some cases, right, with minimal ports. Gotcha. But the solution to that is, for me, taking the Dexnor keyboard, which again, I am very pro Dexnor when it comes to keyboard cases. Particular tablet just because of the functionality, the playful design. What I would do, to get to the point, is take this keyboard and, as opposed to having the back portion, I would prefer actually swapping it out. Oh, it's so thick. I would actually prefer swapping it out for the Samsung keyboard case. And with that alone, you have a much lighter device. You have a much sleeker device. And I really like how similar, ironically, it is to a tablet, but still very much a tablet it is. Well, actually, I would say that in the opposite. It has the potential to be more of like a computer, but it very much is a tablet. And just being able to like so easily disconnect and reconnect it is just ridiculously satisfying, right? Mind you, even though it has a very similar layout to a laptop, which can it throws me off. I don't know if about you, but it throws me off a little bit. I have to be a little more conscious of when I'm closing it, because, you know, with the tablet, or excuse me, with the laptop, their hinges are right here. The tablet's hinges are right here, right? So when you're closing it and you let it fall, well, it falls. But yeah, this is the Samsung Ultra 8 with the combination of Dexnor and your Samsung keyboard back combined. And something you also notice is, in comparison with the back of the Samsungs and the back of the Dexnor, again, is the thickness. And then you'll also, or you might be able to see that there's almost like there's an exaggerated, or, you know, edge that just like extends further out, right, from the cushion portion of the case compared to the Samsungs, right, which maintain a very, again, sleek appearance. And surprisingly, more like thankfully, in appearance, it looks really good combining these two without even noticing or thinking that they were made by two different people altogether. I mean, it's, again, best combination right here. But yeah.
So, bro, you're actually in a pretty unique situation as compared to people that may watch this video, whereas they're choosing, you know, a tablet case for their S8 Ultra or whatnot from scratch without having anything. I know you had a leftover top cover for the S8 Ultra due to
some manufacturing issues.
Yeah, some manufacturing issues. So what would you go for now, having experienced both cases, knowing the pros and cons of each?
Like, would I buy the Samsung case versus the Dexnor case? So then what am I looking at here? How much is the Samsung case? How much is the Ultra case?
They're roughly the same price. And so, yeah, it'd be like a split decision.
To answer your question, I might just lean toward the Dexnor. If I really wanted to have a keyboard that was like the Samsung and functioned the way the Samsung does as far as how it attaches, and I wasn't in the mindset to have just a tablet and probably another type of Bluetooth keyboard that just, again, functioned independently but didn't really connect to the tablet, similar to the Samsungs, I would probably go with the Dexnor. But if I had, like I said, the frame of mind that, okay, I'm gonna use this more so like a tablet, I would go with the Samsung, because it's very sleek, it's very light in comparison. I can still use this much more like a tablet. It doesn't have that uncomfortable edge that extends when it comes to the Dexnor keyboard or keyboard case in its back. For a audience that, you know, focuses on something being as light as possible, Samsung all day.
Thanks again for joining us with the review of these two cases.
No problem, my guy.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. My brother's first impressions of utilizing both the Samsung cover keyboard as well as the Dexnor keyboard. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts if you've had the chance to get your hands on one of these two keyboards, what you think about them personally, and the benefits that you may have encountered with the one that you currently use. As always, folks, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.